All right, cut on the mic. Welcome back to the 1440 show. I'm your host, Blank. So I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what happened in Las Vegas last night. I'm not entirely sure how to put this into words, but I felt the need to talk about the topic. Number one, I have a heavy heart. I feel like I'm a very positive, loving individual, and I feel like our world lacks that right now, especially here in the States. And it is so incredibly saddening, to see and to hear of all the awful things that are consistently happening, and my heart goes out to those that were involved, and my heart goes out to Las Vegas. No one should ever have to go through something like that, right? And the fact that they were at a concert in the open, and the guy planned, he had to have planned that. There's no way that he didn't, and it's sickening, and it's just sad. And I was sitting here thinking about, how horrific this is, right? And I know most people are going to be upset with the guy that did it. The guy's dead. They know his name. I think he's 64 or something like that. And everyone's going to be mad at him and the people that are involved with him, right? But in my head, and even with my, the first thing that came to mind when I heard of it, I was like, wait, what is going on? I'm so confused. And I read it and I was like, Las Vegas? Are they sure it's Las Vegas? Wait, what's going, Las Vegas? Real Las Vegas? Really? Stuff goes on, I know gambling and stuff, but really? And the reason I thought that was because I get married on Saturday, and Sunday we fly out to Las Vegas. That's where my future wife and I decided that we were going to spend the first 7 days of our marriage is in Las Vegas. So the first thing that came to mind was holy crap. There's this massive shooting that just happened. And at first they were thinking it was 20 dead and around 100 injured. It's now hovering around 50 dead and 200 people are injured. And so I'll be honest, it's a bit concerning for me because it's my job to protect my significant other, my future wife, right? And I think this is going to change the way that I view anything that I do out in public, right? And let me dive into that a little bit. So I'm not saying don't live your life, but I am saying be very aware of your surroundings. And so I think there needs to be a conscious effort on everyone's part to be aware of hey, if you're going to do this, okay, so there's been shootings at schools. There have been shootings at movie theaters. There have been shootings, at clubs. Now a concert. Where else? Malls. Right? So anywhere that you go for entertainment, you have to be aware of where you are within a group of people and where the exits are, right? Now, of course, that doesn't mean that something isn't going to happen and that you're going to be completely safe. That's not what it means at all. But I do believe that it will allow you to feel more comfortable in the area that you are, as well as like if anything does actually happen, you will be able to react in a manner that will make sure that you and the people that you're with are able to get out hopefully safely, right? And then from there you can help direct others. And so I think just from this experience alone, and even though I'm not there, just reading about it, it makes me, because they're in the like wide open and people still didn't know what to do, right? And so I think it just opened up my mind as to like you really have to be aware of what is going on around you and where the exits are and what you need to do if something goes wrong. And that it doesn't mean it has to be like this specifically, just saying. And so that was the first thing that came to mind. Second thing was like anger. And then after the anger came sadness, right? And it wasn't like it was sadness definitely for the people that were involved, right? But I found myself feeling sad for the guy that did shoot all those people. And let me explain a little bit why. Okay, like none of us are born into this world with the mindset of I'm going to go out here and kill somebody. That is something that is learned, or that's something that is learned, right? And that comes in different ways. You know, maybe you get formal training and you're a soldier or something, and so you know how to work a firearm, or you're pushed to the brink, and so you in your head learn that everyone's evil or doesn't like you or whatever, and so you go and do something absolutely crazy. And so in my head it was like I was so sad because what did this guy have to go through in order to get to this point? You know what I mean? Like, what did this man go through? What did he have to deal with? What pushed him to this point? Like, what experience did he have that made him decide, you know what, I'm going to plan a mass murder? Like, it was a free-for-all. They were in this giant open concert venue. He knew that concert was coming. He planned to stay in that hotel. Or maybe not stay in that hotel. He got that room from I think it was floor 32, from a high vantage point where he could just fire. What drives a man or anybody to get to that point? Was it the chaos that has happened in the past? Is it politics? Is it race? Was it the terrorism that has happened across the world? What drives someone to do that? And I can't even imagine the type of emotion that he had to deal with in order to get to that point where he was just like, fuck it, And it makes you, or at least in my case, it definitely opened my eyes to like I know for a fact that there were signs, right? And I think a huge problem with society and most of us today is we're afraid of addressing those signs. If your friend has, I don't know, food on their shirt, you don't really address it because you feel awkward, right? If you see something is wrong with a friend emotionally, you tend to like shy away from that because it's not comfortable. If you see signs of, and maybe I've seen signs of this. I can't say that I was aware of it, but you see signs of depression or something like that, we shy away from that. And I'm not saying that if you're supposed to be the one that's supposed to fix those issues. No. If you're not trained and you're not a professional, you shouldn't be. But to to be aware of some of these things, to be aware of like, hey, something's mentally he's not right, emotionally he's not right, or she's not right. Like they're not doing well, and to just shy away from that and not tell anyone and not help them get help is a problem. Right? And I know for a fact that this man, I find it hard to believe that this man just decided without any sign or anything that he just decided that, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm just going to fire into a crowd of people with whatever automatic gun I have. I find that really hard to believe. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that is what happened. I don't think we'll ever know. But I think we need to be more aware of our surroundings. And we need to take the time to be more aware of the people that we're surrounded by. And make sure that we are open with them. We don't have... I don't believe that we have as strong of relationships with people as we used to, simply because of technology and stuff like that. We tend to be on our phones a lot or on our computer a lot, which I understand, changing and getting, evolving with the times. That is fine. But there needs to be a conscious effort. And I am definitely a person that loves to be on his phone. I love to be on my computer. And so there needs to be a conscious effort on my end as well. But we need to take the time to open up and gain that trust with other people and love other people and figure out a way to get rid of all this hate, because I'm not entirely sure. Like, I was sitting here thinking about, how do you get rid of that? You can't just grab it, right? You can't grab hate. You can't just throw it in a fire, right? What do we need to do to get rid of hate? I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that we need to share peace and love and positivity. Like, we've got to figure out a way to increase that. And I think there are a lot of people, or a lot of people with influence that are starting to speak out about this stuff, and sharing the love, because they realize that they have a following, and they realize that the people that follow them can be influenced. It may take some time, but they can be influenced. And I think it's our job, those of us that have the ability, right, to share that love and that positivity and work on getting rid of that hate. Well, it's our responsibility to do so. If we continue on the track that we're on, I'm not entirely sure what is going to happen in the next 20, 30, 40 years. Something has to change, or we are going to break. And it's unfortunate, because I feel like there's a lot of news that shows a lot of the negative stuff, and I understand why. Like, people need to be informed, but we need to shed more light on the positive things. It could be something super simple or something crazy. It doesn't matter. But we've got to figure out a way to stop being so negative and so violent driven, because it's clearly not working. Man, I that's all I really have to say. My heart, my prayers go out to those in Las Vegas right now. For those of you that have family members in Las Vegas that were at that concert, my heart and prayers go out to you as well. I want to know if there's something that I can do that could help the situation. I'm not entirely sure how I would go about doing that. But yeah, share more love, share more positivity, and let's be the generation that helps change the negative path that we're on onto a positive path. Cut the freaking mic.